Ladies and gentlemen, a new snapshot for Minecraft Java Edition version 1.13 has been released. This is Minecraft Snapshot 18w02a. This one comes with a bunch of bug fixes and a large amount of changes to the commands system. My name is slicedlime. Welcome to this video and let's go through all of these changes. First of all, this is a snapshot with some bug fixes, and some of those are stability fixes, crash fixes included in this version. There's also some fixes for a problem that was across the entire game, mostly in menus for text components that were not displaying correctly. One very visible aspect of this was the single player menu world version not displaying correctly, but this happened in many other places across the game as well. Translations have been updated as well. The translation files are no longer called .lang, they're now called .json and have a key value format like other JSON files used in the game. This really shouldn't matter too much to you unless you are a translator. The newest translations will be pulled in soon, so if you want to help out with those, head over to that. I'll leave a link in the description for the video. Now, for the rest of the changes for this version, they are about commands and map making stuff, technical stuff for people making things, making modifications to Minecraft. There's a new block tag in this one. It's called Minecraft:_Enderman_holdable. Only blocks tagged with that tag will be picked up by Enderman, so that produces a very easy new way of making Enderman not mess up your world in 1.13. Local coordinates, the caret function, now come from the feet of the character by default. And as you might tell by default, this can actually be changed. We'll get to that in a second here once we get to the changes to the execute command. But first, teleport has been updated. Teleporting to things in other dimensions than the one you're in is now allowed. That means that you can do teleport and specify somebody who is in a different dimension and be immediately teleported into that dimension to the position that player or entity is at. Syntax of the teleport command has changed a little bit. Rotation and facing can now only be specified if you teleport to a location. If you teleport to another target player or entity, you will copy the facing of that player or entity. The facing arguments that were added in a previous version now have anchor points, so you can do teleport and then facing some entity and then specify whether you want to face the eyes or feet of that entity. The execute subcommands have been changed to allow more controls over how commands get run. First of all, a new one called facing X, Y, and Z will run the command as if you were facing X, Y, and Z. Rotation is now a core component of the context in which a command runs. You can also use facing entity and then an entity selector or name, and then also eyes or feet. That will run the command as if you're facing that entity's eyes or feet, even if you aren't. The old offset subcommand has been renamed to position, so you can now do positioned and the X, Y, and Z or an offset, and that will change the command to run at that location. You can also now do positioned as and an entity name, and then that will change the command position, but nothing else. You can also do rotated as and then an entity name or selector, and you will copy the rotation of that entity and run the command as if that rotation was your rotation. There's also a new subcommand in, and that is followed by a world name, so currently overworld, the end, or the nether. That will run the command as though you were in that dimension. Now, there's still the at subcommand that takes an entity name or selector, and that will now change the dimension, the position, and the rotation of the command to match that entity. You can now also do if unless score with the name and objective matches and then a range. We'll test for a score inside of a range, so you can test for 1 or above, or 1 to 5 or something similar. Finally, there's a new subcommand called anchored, followed by feet or eyes, and that will make the rest of the command use feet or eyes for local coordinates or facing subcommands. That means that if you do anchored eyes, then the caret symbols will now be your look direction centered in your eyes. More changes. Server commands, that is, commands that are run without a fixed location, so something that is run from a tagged function or from the server console or via a connection to the Archon system, the remote console, will now run from the world's spawn coordinates instead of 000, and those will run in the overworld, of course. Some command-related fixes as well. If you had an unhandled error inside of a command, that would just dump out the entire exception text into chat. That will now properly display unknown error messages. Errors during a command are now nicer error message, and you have a tooltip for more info as well. If you gave a player 0 of some item, that would result in a chat message saying that you got 0 error. That is fixed in this version. If you use the scoreboard player's reset function, then you could remove the name of a player from a sidebar even if that sidebar was showing a different objective than the one you reset. That is fixed in this version. And you were unable to test for names with the name equals selector argument anymore in the previous snapshot, and that is fixed in this one. That was a lot of command changes. We are getting ever closer to the release of Minecraft 1.13, so the snapshots are becoming more stable. However, snapshots are still experimental development versions and they might crash or even corrupt your world. So if you try this one, make sure you do it on a backup of your world or on a separate test world. In specific, any world upgraded from 1.12 into these snapshots can never be downgraded back to Minecraft 1.12. So if you've upgraded a world to these snapshots, it's stuck in the snapshots forever. Also note that a world that has been updated to the snapshots is not guaranteed to work properly in the next snapshot. So keep your proper Minecraft 1.12 worlds around until it's time to upgrade for real. Now if you do want to try this snapshot, then do so by heading into your Minecraft launcher, click the Launch Options tab and enable snapshots in there. You'll get a message, read it, understand it, and then click OK and head back to the News tab. You will now have a latest snapshot in the drop-down box for the play button. Select it and hit play to start the latest snapshot version, which is currently this one, 18w02a. My name is slicedlime, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and take care. I'll see you next time.